Hello students and welcome to the e-learning session of social science. Students, today we are going to start with the first chapter of term 2 of social science standard 8. In the first term we have completed all the chapters and now we are going to continue with our second term. So let's start with the chapter. So the name of your chapter is socio-religious reforms. Now what is the meaning of socio-religious reforms, that we will see first. Socio-religious reform means what? That when certain social and political changes are done in the society for the betterment through collective actions, then generally it is called social reforms. So what is the meaning of social reforms? That when collectively a group of people or an individual works or makes some efforts for the upliftment of the people who are living in the society, then it is called social reforms. So in this chapter we are going to discuss about the various social reformers who has contributed for the development of our society. Now say in the 19th century, students, in India many social evils were in practice, like there was child marriage system was there, polygamy was there, then casteism was there, untouchability was there, and female infanticide. All this kind of social evils were prevailing in our society. So to remove all these social evils, the efforts were done by various social reformers, and in this social reformers the first person who is known as the torch bearer was Rajaram Mohan Roy. So we will see about Rajaram Mohan Roy. Rajaram Mohan Roy was known as the torch bearer for the upliftment of the society. Now who was Rajaram Mohan Roy? So Rajaram Mohan Roy, he was born on May 22nd, 1772 in a village called Radhanagar in the district of Hooghly in Bengal. His father's name was Ramakant Roy and his mother was Tarini Devi. Now Rajaram Mohan Roy, he was from a very educated background. So during his school days only he has learnt many languages like Persian, Arabic and Sanskrit and Bangla. So he has learnt different languages during his school time only, like Bangla, Persian, Arabic and Sanskrit. Now what type of work was done by Rajaram Mohan Roy and why he was inspired for doing all this kind of work? So it is said that Rajaram Mohan Roy was also married at a very early age. So that was included in a kind of child marriage type. So he was already against this practice. And then once what happened that his elder brother, when he expired, that means when he died, at that time his sister-in-law became Sati. Now what is Sati, that we have learnt in the previous chapters also, that when the husband dies, the wife is burnt along with the husband on the pyre of the husband, that is called Sati system. So Rajaram Mohan Roy's sister-in-law became Sati. Now seeing that plight, the situation, he was very much annoyed, he felt very much, he was very much upset and he felt very disgraceful that, oh my God, what is this going on in the society? So I should do something for the upliftment of the women, because the situation of women in 19th century was very poor in the Indian society. So what type of efforts were done by Rajaram Mohan Roy? So he wanted the girls to get educated and not to get married early. So he was against the child marriage system. He also wanted the girls to study. He opened the schools to promote modern learning. He was very much impressed by the British thoughts that everyone should be educated. So he was also supporting this modern learning system. He fought against the Sati system, which was abolished in 1829 by Lord William Bentinck, because the efforts to abolish a Sati system was started by Rajaram Mohan Roy. Then he requested Lord William Bentinck to abolish this system of Sati, because at that time British rule was there in India. So Lord William Bentinck, he agreed with the thoughts of Rajaram Mohan Roy and he implemented the law of abolishing Sati system in the year 1829. Then Rajaram Mohan Roy, he had also started Brahmo Samaj. which worked for the people of the downtrodden caste. And he was against the idol worship. Idol worship means what? Murti puja. He was against the idol worship. According to him, there shouldn't be any idol worship or murti puja, and he was not believing in any kind of caste restriction also. He did not believe in upper caste or lower caste. He had also started a Bengali newspaper named Samvat Kaumudi in 1821 and Miratul Akbar in Persian language in 1822. We have seen earlier that he was knowing all these languages, Bengali, Persian, Sanskrit. So he has written the newspaper in Bengali as well as Persian languages. Then he established Brahmo Samaj in 1828, and he also established a Hindu college in Kolkata for the education of the children. Then, how did Rajaram Mohan Roy died? So, it is said that in November 1830, Rajaram Mohan Roy travelled to the United Kingdoms as an ambassador of the Mughal Emperor to plead for his pension and allowances. So at that time these reformers, they were given certain kind of pension and allowances. So with that request he went to UK, and there Rajaram Mohan Roy passed away on September 27, 1833 at Stapleton near Bristol due to meningitis. Meningitis is a kind of disease in which you get fever in the brain. So Rajaram Mohan Roy, he became ill over there. He suffered from meningitis and he died in Bristol in the year 1833 CE. Now the next social reformer was Dayanand Saraswati, Swami Dayanand Saraswati. So where Dayanand Saraswati was born? He was born in Tankara village of Gujarat in the year 1824. His childhood name was Mool Shankar, and later on he came to be known as Swami Dayanand Saraswati. Now what work was done by him? So he devoted his life for the revival of the Vedas, for the removal of the social evils, bad customs and blind beliefs. In the 19th century, lots of superstitious beliefs were prevailing in the society. So he made the people aware about the blind beliefs and the superstitions, and he asked the people to go back to Vedas. He told the people to read the Vedas and follow the Vedas. On 7th April 1875, Arya Samaj was established in Bombay by Dayanand Saraswati. And what was the motto of the Arya Samaj? That is, make the world noble. So their main motto was to make the world noble, to make a place where everyone is treated equally. Now his guru's name was Swami Virjanand. So Swami Virjanand was the guru of Swami Dayanand Saraswati. When he met his guru, he had lots of questions in his mind about the existence of the God. So his guru, he told him that you forget everything and you start with a fresh mind, and you start writing the books, and you start thinking about the world in a different way. So he started staying in the ashram of Swami Virjanand. There he used to do different kinds of duties, like he used to fetch the water from the river Yamuna and clean the ashram with the broom also. So he was a very good disciple of Swami Virjanand. So what were the works done by Swami Dayanand Saraswati? He preached the people to go back to Vedas. He told the people that you read the Vedas and you start following whatever is written in the Vedas. He also wrote a book entitled Satyarat Prakash. Then he had established Arya Samaj in the year 1875 CE. And after his death, a Kangdi Gurukul was established in 1902 near Haridwar by Swami Shraddhanand. So Swami Shraddhanand was also there in the Arya Samaj along with the Swami Dayanand Saraswati. So after the death of Swami Dayanand Saraswati, Kangdi Gurukul was established, and at present also the work is being done by the Kangdi Gurukul in Haridwar. The next person was Sri Ramakrishna Paramhans. So Ramakrishna Paramhans, he was born on February 18, 1836 in the Kamarpukur village of West Bengal in India. Now, Sri Ramakrishna Paramhans, from the very childhood, he took interest in the religious activities. So, he was very much influenced by the religion. So, as a result, what happened? He became a priest in the Kali temple of Dakshineshwar near Kolkata. So, from the very childhood, he was influenced for the religious activities. So, ultimately, when he grew up, he became a priest, and he was also the guru of Swami Vivekanand, and he died on 16th August 1886. Now we will see about Swami Vivekanand. He was also a very well-known social reformer of India. His childhood name was Narendranath Dutt. What was the childhood name of Swami Vivekanand? His childhood name was Narendranath Dutt. He was born in Shimla Pali in Kolkata, West Bengal on 12th January 1863. His father's name was Vishwanath Dutt and mother's name was Bhumneshwari Devi. When he was very young, from that younghood only, from the childhood only, he was having a very sharp memory. Whatever he see, whatever he read, he used to remember it immediately, because he used to practice meditation from the very early age. While at school, he was good at studies as well as games of various kinds. During his school days also, he was very active person. He was a leader among his group of friends. In 1879, Narendra entered the Presidency College, Kolkata for higher studies. So, he did his graduation from the Presidency College of Kolkata. After 1 year, he joined the Scottish Church College, Kolkata and studied philosophy. So, he has studied different subjects also. During his course, he studied Western logic, Western philosophy and history of European nations. So, he was very much influenced by the European culture. Now, this Swami Vivekanand, he met Ramakrishna Paramhans. Narendranath met Ramakrishna for the first time in November 1881. He asked Ramakrishna the same old question, whether he had seen God. He asked Ramakrishna, because Ramakrishna Paramhans was a great devotee. He was a priest in the Kali temple. So, when Narendranath met Ramakrishna Paramhans, his first question which he asked was, have you ever seen God? The instantaneous answer from the Ramakrishna was, yes, I see God just as I see you here, only in a much intenser sense. So, Narendra was astounded and puzzled. He could feel the man's words were honest and uttered from depth of experience. So, he started visiting Ramakrishna Paramhans frequently. So, after getting the answer from Ramakrishna Paramhans, Narendranath was very much influenced by Ramakrishna and he frequently started meeting Ramakrishna Paramhans. He reached Kanyakumari on 24th December 1892. There he swam across the sea and started meditating on a lone rock for 3 days. At present also, if you go to get the time to visit Kanyakumari, you will find there Swami Vivekanand rock, where Swami Vivekanand sat for 3 days and did the meditation. The rock went on to become Vivekanand Memorial at Kanyakumari. He had a vision of Sri Ramakrishna, who encouraged him to go to the west. So, Swami Vivekanand, he was very much influenced by Ramakrishna Paramhans. Now, what preachings were given by Swami Vivekanand? So, he advised the people to serve the poor. According to Swami Vivekanand, we should always help the poor people, the needy people. He gave a very famous slogan, arise, awake and stop not till the goal is achieved. That means you should go on doing the hard work unless and until you achieve your goal. He had established the Ramakrishna Mission in Kolkata in the year 1897. The mission followed the slogan, service to man is service to God. So, what was the mission of Ramakrishna Mission? The motto of Ramakrishna Mission was that service to man is service to God. If you will help any needy people, then it is equivalent that you have served the God, because in all the human beings God is there is existence of God in all the human beings according to him. So we should, if we help the needy people, it is equivalent to the service to God. So the motto was that service to man is service to God. Many schools and hospitals are run by this mission today also. So at present also this Ramakrishna mission is running many schools and hospitals for the needy people. Now the next one is the Muslim reform movement. Now in the 19th century, some Muslim leaders, they were also interested in the upliftment of the society. So during the revolt of 1857, in the first term we have seen about the revolt of 1857. So during the revolt of 1857, Sir Syed Ahmad Khan was an employee in the East India Company. But he was very much influenced by the British culture. So he advocated the idea of acquiring English education. He favored the English education. According to him, English should be adopted as a language. He started a magazine, Tehzibul Akhlaq, in 1870, where he wrote all of his thoughts. He established Aligarh Muslim College in 1875, which is known as Aligarh Muslim University at present. So the Aligarh Muslim University, which is a very famous university, was established by Sir Syed Ahmad Khan. Then the Sikh reform movement. The Sikh community people were also living in India. So they also gave their involvement in the upliftment of the society. So Shiromani Gurudwara Prabandhak Committee was formed with an objective to reorganize the religious practices and remove the evil practices from the Gurudwaras. So one committee was formed. The name of the committee was Shiromani Gurudwara Prabandhak Committee. This committee worked for the upliftment of the society and for raising the awakening among the people. They teach the people to be away from the superstitions. Khalsa College in Amritsar was established to impart English education along with the religious education. So Khalsa College was also started for the Sikh community students, where they were taught English education as well as the religious education. Then Parsi reform movement. Parsi people were also living in our country. So from the Parsi community, Dadabhai Nauroji was a very well-known person. He has worked for the religious upliftment and the society's upliftment and all the social religious reforms for the Parsi community. Along with him there was Malbari Behramji. Malbari Behramji has also worked for the upliftment of the children in the society. The next social reformer was from Maharashtra. His name was Jyotiba Phule. He had started a Satya Shodhak Samaj, and he was a prominent social reformer and a great thinker. He had started the movement against the caste restrictions in India, because in 19th century caste system was prevalent in a very huge amount. So he was totally against the caste restrictions. According to him, there is no upper caste and no lower caste people, all should be treated equally. He revolted against the domination of the Brahmin society. He struggled for the rights of the peasants and the low caste people. He fought for the upliftment of the farmers. Peasants means what? For the farmers and for the lower caste people. He fought for the education of the girls also. And he was the first Hindu to start an orphanage for the unfortunate children. So he has worked a lot. He has worked for the girls' education. He has worked for the children who are orphans. Orphan means what? Who doesn't have mother or father. For them also he has he has done lots of work. He has worked for the upliftment of the peasants as well as for the low caste people. Then a very known personality from our Gujarat Bhavnagar, that is Thakkar Bapa. Amritlal Thakkar was popularly known as Thakkar Bapa. He was born in 1869 in Bhavnagar city, that is where we are living. So Thakkar Bapa was born in Bhavnagar. He was an engineer by profession, but he left his lucrative job to serve the downtrodden and the marginalized people. He was a very educated person. He was an engineer by profession. He used to get a very huge salary, very good salary. But he left that lucrative job and he started working for the downtrodden and marginalized people. Downtrodden means what? Those who are socially very backward people. He started working for them. He was the head of the Akhil Hind Harijan Sangh, which was established by Gandhiji. Now here you have to be very clear that Gandhiji was the person who established Akhil Hind Harijan Sangh. So establishment, if it is asked, then it is Gandhiji. But if the head is asked, who was the head of Akhil Hind Harijan Sangh, then it was Thakkar Bapa. So Gandhiji established the Akhil Hind Harijan Sangh and made Thakkar Bapa the head of the Akhil Hind Harijan Sangh. But Thakkar Bapa had established Panchmahal Bhil Seva Mandal to reform the lives of the Bhils who lived in the deep forest regions of Panchmahal region. So the people who are living in the Panchmahal region, Panchmahal is generally the area where more tribal people are living. So Bhil is a community, a tribal community who is living in the Panchmahal region. So he has established Panchmahal Bhil Seva Mandal for the upliftment of the Bhil tribal people. He opened the schools for the Bhil children and freed the Bhils from the addiction of alcohol and other evil practices and superstitions. We know that generally the tribal people are more superstitious and they have many evil customs also. So Thakkar Bapa, he made them aware about all the evil practices. He teach them how to relieve themselves from the addiction of alcohol, and he also started the school for the Bhil children. He taught them how to operate the spinning wheel and produce khadi and involve them in the small cottage industry. So he provided them the source to earn the income. Also he taught them how to use the spinning wheel, which Gandhiji used to use for weaving the cloth. So Thakkar Bapa also taught the Bhil people to make the use of the spinning wheel and to make the cloth, and slowly he involved them in the cottage industry, in the where they can small cottage industries where they can make their own products and sell them in the markets and earn the livelihood. So in short, Thakkar Bapa has worked a lot for the upliftment of the downtrodden and the marginalized people, and for the Bhil community especially. So I hope students you have understood about all the social reformers from this chapter. Once again, read the textbook also properly and complete the PDF which are given, that you have to write in the workbook also. So regularly you complete your work, then it will be easy at the end. Okay, thank you and have a nice day.